You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, I will admit the other games were fun. This one wasn't as fun. When you don't get the big hit to try to support your pitcher, it's not as much fun as then when you do get the big hit, like the Phillies coming up small in that third inning, then coming up small again in the ninth inning, despite, as my old Little League coach used to say, ducks on the pond. Phillies failed to swing the willow wand and bring in those runs in. So that sucked. But welcome to the show anyway. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right now is Locked On Sports Philadelphia on a Locked On Sports Philadelphia Phillies postcast. So welcome in, and it is brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home the big win. Maybe get the big hit if you're the Phillies. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. So the Phillies take the 5-3 loss. You see it in our graphic right there. Aaron Nola drops to 4-2, going 5 2/3, allowing 4 runs on 9 hits, using 96 pitches to get to those 5 2/3. Not exactly the bounce back start you wanted to see from Aaron Nola after struggling a little bit there against the San Francisco Giants. You wanted to see him go 7 innings again and maybe allow only 2 runs. But we'll get to all that and more as we get into what we always get into to start off the show, which is 3 big things, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Locked On Philadelphia Sports Phillies postcast. Number 1. This is baseball, and I hate that it's baseball, but as the old saying goes, that's baseball. Last night, the Phillies face Jose Barrios, who comes into the ball game with a 1.44 ERA, the best in baseball. And then they play a day game against some Chris Bassett fella who had a 5.45 ERA coming into today, and they barely get 2 runs off him. Tell me how that makes any sense whatsoever. It doesn't. I hate it, but as they say, that is baseball. Number 2. All right, let me get to this. Where was that big hit today? Because this was so unbelievably infuriating that there was a gift given to the Phillies again. Yesterday, it led to the big inning, and you could call it a gift. Was it luck? It was certainly luck. Did the Blue Jays benefit from a couple of calls yesterday that were, did the Phillies benefit from a couple of calls? No, the Blue Jays benefited from a couple of calls that weren't called swings. So you had a couple instances there with Blue Jays players at the plate where they just held up and didn't cross the plane, didn't break the plane, as they say. But they were called no swings. They were ruled that they didn't offer those pitches. Then Kyle Schwarber has one that is a close call. Close call. Did he swing? Probably, but still a close call nonetheless. He's ruled that he didn't offer at the pitch. He ends up getting hit. The base ended up being loaded. And then the Phillies get the big grand salami from Bryce Harper later in that inning. So that was one thing that went the Phillies' way. So let's go to that third inning where they had something going their way, something brewing for your Philadelphia Phillies. And what ended up happening, they didn't capitalize. They're only able to get 1 run in that third inning. And the way you saw everything come down in that third inning was such as this. Phillies get Bryson Stott to lead off with a walk. Okay, let's start it off like that. After a 10-pitch at bat, he starts things off with a walk in that inning. He was down to 1-2 in that count, and he ends up fouling off a couple pitches, 4 to be exact, taking 3 balls, and then ends up working that walk for himself. So you have the leadoff runner on. Now the next man comes up. That's Edmundo Sosa. He ends up walking on 5 pitches. So now you got the first 2 runners on base, and you have first and second occupied. You have third base open. So that with Johan Rojas coming to the plate leads you to believe that he's going to lay down the bunt. What does Johan Rojas do? He attempts to lay down the bunt a couple of different times. The second time he actually makes contact, he runs down the first baseline. They throw him out. But wait. There's more. After thinking he did the job with the sacrifice bunt, putting runners at third, at second, and third with 1 out, moving everybody up and taking that out, sacrificing himself, it's ruled that he touched the ball twice. The ball bounced back up. It hit his hand. It hit his bat. Therefore, dead ball, do it again. So to this time, do the Phillies have to sacrifice an out? No, because Johan Rojas really helps follow suit with how things have been going for the Phillies, which is they have been getting the breaks, they have been getting the bounces. Things have gone the way of the Phillies. So this time, Johan Rojas gets another pitch. This one, he hits a soft line drive, humpback liner, if you will, almost a fly ball by my ruling, and he hits it in the dead center field. Now, unfortunately, with Bryson Stott as the lead runner here at second base, he's got to hold up a little bit to see if the ball is going to be caught. So we can't just break around the bases and try to score. So what ends up happening is he holds up a little bit, he advances to third, and everybody occupies a base. Now you got the bases loaded with 2 walks and a single line drive up the middle, if you will. Bases are loaded for Kyle Schwarber. Basically a guy you really want to be up there. Kyle Schwarber steps to the plate, and he goes down to the count 0-2. He works it back to a 2-2 count, and then he unfortunately just swings under one a little bit. That was a little high in the zone, and he swung under the cutter, and he pops it up into foul territory. The ball's flying into shallow right field. George Springer is in pursuit. He's in pursuit. He dives and makes a spectacular catch. Now, Bryson Stott does a phenomenal job of reading this. He tags up, he trots home, and he scores on that play. So at least you got 1 run, and that knotted things up at 1 run apiece. But now you got 1 out. So you had bases loaded, nobody out. You eke out. You squeak out a run in that situation with the Kyle Schwarber sacrifice fly to foul territory. JT Realmuto then steps up, grounds into a fielder's choice, 2 outs, no run scores. And then Bryce Harper flies out to right field. And I will say this, if there was a time for the Phillies to get a bigger break than, say, Johan Rojas being called for interference or dead ball, whatever, yeah, it would have been Bryce Harper just getting a little bit more, just a little tiny bit more of that pitch that he saw to end his 5-pitch at bat in the bottom of the 3rd inning. You had 2 runners on at that point. It was a 2-2 count. There was a sweeper down in the zone, and Bryce Harper just missed it. George Springer, who made the first out of the inning, who got the first out of the inning with a great diving play on Kyle Schwarber. Because if he doesn't get to that ball, it just bounces in foul territory. Maybe Kyle Schwarber, gets the next pitch and he cranks that out of the ballpark, for a grand slam. But unfortunately, 5th pitch at that at bat for Bryce Harper, 2 outs in the inning. Harper just gets under that sweeper, and George Springer makes the catch with his butt up against the wall in right field at CBP. The only damage the Phillies are able to do with a bases loaded, no out situation comes in that 3rd inning with just 1 run on a sacrifice fly in foul territory that just gets 1 run across the plate. Now, look, I understand that things have been going the way of the Phillies, but in that particular instance, I thought, there's no way that comes back. There's no way that doesn't come back to bite him in the old behind, right? No, it's going to come back and bite him. And it did, unfortunately, because then as the game went on, and we'll get to the 3rd big thing and our 3 big things, that 6th inning where Aaron Nola started to lose it. I will say both sides, the Blue Jays and the Phillies, both Bassett and Aaron Nola, I would say through the first however long they were pitching, 5 2/3, 6 innings, they had no idea what a strike was or wasn't. The home plate umpire had no consistent strike zone. I know they talked about it on the broadcast, and I kept going back to it too. The outside pitch to Nick Castellanos where he got rung up in the 3rd inning, I want to say it was, or 2nd inning, excuse me. That just looked ridiculous to me. Absolutely ridiculous, bonkers to me that he got called out on that pitch that was well off the plate. Didn't make any sense. There was a pitch earlier in that same at-bat that was at the knees. The better side of that baseball was in the strike zone, and he wasn't rung up. So I guess you take the good with the bad with the good. But that was a pitch that was a strike in one moment, and then it wasn't again. The low strike was pretty consistent tonight of not getting called. He wasn't giving pitchers that pitch. The outside pitches, whatever he felt like calling at that particular instance. And I'm saying that for both sides. Had nothing to do with why the Phillies won or lost. Both sides had to deal with that. But let's get to the number 3, and that was in that 6th inning for your beloved Philadelphia Phillies, our beloved Philadelphia Phillies, because Aaron Nola, they just got the bounces, they got the hits, they got ones that just squeaked under the mitt of Edmundo Sosa at short, or Bryson Stott at second, or vice versa as the game went on, and they just couldn't find a way to stop the bleeding in that 6th inning. You had Vlad Guerrero Jr. lead things off with that infield single that went to Alec Boehm at third. He charged, tried to barehand it, couldn't get the out. Then Justin Turner steps up there. He gets the force out, so at least you have 1 out in the inning. Jansen steps up and he gets the double to left field down the line. So now you have a 2nd and 3rd with 1 out situation, and you're just hoping that Aaron Nola can find his way out of it. Bo Bichette steps to the plate. He gets the RBI single to right field. So now it goes from a 1-1 ball game to a 2-1 ball game. Schneider's the next man up. He gets another hit in the inning. This one on a RBI single to left field. Now it's a 3-run ball game, and they just added one more with Kiermaier again with an RBI single to left field, and that one came off of Matt Strahm, but charged to Aaron Nola. Just couldn't get out of the inning. The crazy thing, Kiner Falefa gets the 2-2 inside pitch on a knuckleball that was roped down the left field line from Aaron Nola. There is no closer you get to the foul pole than that. He just got the barrel of the bat out in front of that pitch on the knuckle curve that dropped in beautifully into a home run swing, and he just wrapped it inside, not outside or around, but inside the left field foul pole. Could have been a 3-run home run right there, and that would have been really, really bad for Aaron Nola in the Phillies. Nola goes out after that, after he gets Kiner Falefa to pop out to first base. Nola goes out, Strahm comes in, and he gives up the RBI single there to Kiermaier. Springer ends up ending it with a ground out to second base. But that 6th inning was a killer inning for the Phillies, for Aaron Nola, and a little bit for Matt Strahm as well. Phillies couldn't bounce back 1-2-3. They go down to the bottom of the 6th inning. They don't get anything going for themselves again to the 7th inning when Stott got the sac fly RBI. And this was another opportunity for the Phillies. Phillies have another opportunity, not as big as they did in the 3rd inning, but moving on to that 7th inning, it was a rough one. We'll cover the 2 other rough innings here for the Phillies where the bats couldn't respond, as they have so with great regularity so far this season. We'll break that down when we come back. You're Locked On Phillies postcast here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Hey, quick question for you. Do you love your mother? Because I love my mother. I love my mother so much, in fact, that I'm going to use DoorDash to get her all the gifts that she wants from the brands she recognizes. Big bouquet of flowers. Hi, Mom. DoorDash is at the door. Mom, did you get my DoorDash? Oh, that was from you? Did you get my letter? Letters, gift cards. Oh, my goodness. Flower arrangements for Mom for Mother's Day Sunday, by the way. So, yeah. You heard of DoorDash. You've used DoorDash. So use DoorDash to take care of Mom. You thought about DoorDash maybe for other things when it comes to just convenience for you. How about DoorDash to take care of Mom? Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your next order. Up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, retail order. Whatever you do on DoorDash, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your order and up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower arrangement for Mom using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Pair of flowers. You could pair flowers with a gift card even for Mom to that place. She likes a nice cup of coffee, her favorite coffee place. You can get the gift card for there. Just do everything to take care of her, all right? You can't go wrong when you use DoorDash. You get thoughtful gifts that she deserves with the convenience you need. Choose same-day delivery or schedule a week ahead of time. Just got a couple of days here, folks. Get on DoorDash and let the flowers and the gifts arrive to her door. Once again, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get 50% off your order. Up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower arrangement, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB. So make sure you do that when you order on DoorDash today. Terms apply. Oh, let's have some fun when we talk about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain and keep your vehicle and level it up to make sure that ride or die is in peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts. Did you hear that? 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Let's get back to where we left off here, and that's the 7th and the 9th inning for the Phillies, where, again, so many times what separates the wins and the losses, even if your pitcher doesn't have his A-quality stuff, if you get ducks on that pond, you can't go 2-8 with runners in scoring position or 2-for-8 with runners in scoring position, especially if it's a bases loaded, no-out situation like you had in that 3rd inning. A chance there in the 7th inning to get some runs across, of course, as well, when you were set up with this. Alec Bohm led things off by grounding out to the shortstop. Brandon Marsh got a single to center field. Nick Castellanos, who now just has decided to hit doubles like it's nobody's business, gets you a double to left field. So you have a runner on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Oh, my goodness gracious, the 4-1 ball game. It's amazing with all the hitting that the Blue Jays did in the 6th inning. The Phillies weren't able to, or that's all that they did, was get 3 runs across the plate in that 6th inning. Could have been a lot worse. Fortunately, it wasn't. So now you have a runner on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. They take Bassett out at this point. Now Stott's at the plate with 1 out, 2nd and 3rd. Stott gets a sac fly RBI to center field. Brandon Marsh is able to cross the plate. It's a 4-2 ball game. Casty goes to 3rd. Clemens comes up in a pinch hit situation, hitting for Edmundo Sosa. This time the Phillies did the switch. Clemens went to second base, I believe it was, and Stott went to shortstop. So the situation that comes up now is Nick Castellanos standing on 3rd base because he did a heck of a job. And also with Nick Castellanos, on this note, last year I don't think he tags up. It was deep center field. But Nick Castellanos is slower than cold molasses, okay? Somehow this season he's been able to leg out an extra double for himself. He's been able to tag up in this situation today, get it going from 2nd to 3rd on the fly ball to center field. I'm not saying that he's all of a sudden fleet of foot. All I'm saying is he's no longer cold molasses, like freezing cold molasses. So he makes it to 3rd. So you have a threat here. Clemens comes up to the plate, and he chased a slider well out of the zone. Well out of the zone. So he strikes out to end that threat. The Phillies still able to get 1. So far, 1 is all they're able to get in that inning. Then you go to the 9th inning, and this is where things got a little exciting for the Phils. After Kiermaier put on another infield single to the shortstop, an RBI, another one. 5-2 is the score, and that was off Orion Kerkering, who did not really impress today, unfortunately. Phillies aren't able to get much after JT Realmuto's double, 1-out double in the 8th inning. Harper grounds out to 2nd. He was up in that count 3-0. This is a crucial at bat. I don't want to gloss over. It was in the 8th inning, yeah. So it's 5-2. JT Realmuto is up at the plate. He gets the double. You have a runner on 2nd base. You have 1 out. Merrifield actually hit a ball to 3rd, and it was a great play, phenomenal play, as a matter of fact. And he was just gunned down at 1st base. So now you have 1 out. I believe it was Miza that came in, and Realmuto was able to take him to left or right center field for a double. So now he's standing on 2nd base with 1 out. Harper then comes up. Harper gets into a 3-0 count. I don't know if he gave himself the red light or if Rob Thompson said, don't swing, we need base runners. I don't know what happened, but he was taken all the way. And that pitch dropped in on the 3-0 pitch, just in the same exact spot where Harper's first 3-run home run came in the last now 4 days, where his second 3-run home run came in the last 4 days, and his grand slam yesterday. All in the same spot, all around the same speed. It was a sinker. He laid off it. And then I'm like, all right, now we're going to get geared up here. And Meza did a phenomenal job. He dropped in, I think it was another slider that just went right across Bryce Harper's body and dropped, at least according to the strike zone on TV, right into the strike zone. Harper did not think it was a strike. You could tell he was pissed off. So now all of a sudden you went from a 3-0 count with a runner on, an opportunity that if you smack that ball out of the ballpark, it's a 1-run ball game. And Bryce Harper on the 3-2 pitch rolls over one, grounds out to second base. So pissed off. Normally, this upsets me when a player doesn't bust it down the first base line, really, I'm trying to make something happen. But Harper has basically won the last 3 games for you, so I'm not going to really get on him for this, but he was really pissed off. On the broadcast, they said he was pissed off at himself. I think he was a little pissed off at that 3-1 pitch being called a strike and made it a 3-2 count. I also do, yes, think he's a little pissed off that he got the pitch that he wanted in that final pitch of the at-bat and rolled over it. I think he was also pissed that in the 5th inning that I say it was, 3rd inning, that he just swung under that pitch that could have resulted in a 3-run home run. Another one for Bryce. 13 RBIs, 4 games. It's not a bad stretch there for Bryce Harper. So he makes that out there in the 8th inning. Now you go into the 9th inning. Alec Boehm leads things off. Good to see him get a hit. You don't want to see him go into that slump against Romano. Don't want to see him go into a slump after that 18-game hitting streak. He gets a single to start things off. Marsh grounds into the fielder's choice. You have Boehm out at second base. Marsh safe at first. Castellanos gets an 0-2 pitch. Romano tries to get it by him on the high outside fastball. Castellanos tomahawks it into right field. Phenomenal job out of him. Fastball away. Now you got Stott sitting there at third base. Castellanos is there trying to make things happen for himself as well. Stott steps up there, gets the RBI double to right field on a 1-pitch slider that just stayed up enough for him to tattoo. He puts it in the right field. He gets the RBI single there. RBI double there. He gets credit for that. Castellanos, again, talking about the fleet of foot Castellanos, he ends up going all the way to third on the play. Cody Clemens comes up to the plate for the second time in the ball game. This is when he was looking first pitch fastball. If you're him in that situation, you want to jump on a fastball. You want to get out and do that. Castellanos had a similar idea. Marsh had a similar idea. Boehm had a similar idea. Jump on Romano, first pitch fastball. He doesn't get that. He gets the first pitch fastball in that situation, and unfortunately, he pops out to short. So nothing doing there for the Phils. Made it a 5-3 game at that point of in the inning, and then Merrifield just gets under one. And flies out to first base. Vlad Guerrero Jr. able to drift over to his left and make the play in foul territory to end it. And the Phillies take the loss. Their home win streak is snapped at 11. Their overall win streak is snapped at 7. The significance of the Phillies, unfortunately, ending their home win streak means that they will not match. It's one beautiful note that could have been reached today that wasn't. If the Phillies would have won today, it would have matched their longest win streak at home at Citizens Bank Park since 2010. That's the longest streak they've ever had. Longest win streak they've ever had at home since Citizens Bank opened was 12 games. They fall just short of that home win streak. It's halted at 11 games at home, 7 games overall. And now we wait. What do we wait for? A couple of different things. We'll get into in a second, but I've got a comment I want to get in here. Go Sixers. Can't win them all, Farzy. Doesn't mean I don't want to. I certainly want to. Yeah, there you go. When we come back, we'll take a look at where the Philadelphia Phillies are headed after this and what it means for the Atlanta Braves and what they got going on today. Because the Phillies have an off day tomorrow. We'll break it all down when we come back. You're locked on Philadelphia Phillies postcast. Hey, how much fun you having on Prize Picks? You guys have heard me talking a lot about Prize Picks since we started doing these shows about a little more than a month ago. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and your favorite players. You just pick more or you pick less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Unfortunately, I had more than 6 innings with Aaron Nola today, so I don't hit on that, as he obviously went less. I had more trying to ride Bryce Harper's hot streak. He got less, so I took the over today when it came to my prize picks, unfortunately, for me. But how about this? When you talk about daily fantasy, how about music to your ears? Well, how much music is it to your ears to hear this phrase? Injury insurance What? Yes, Prize Picks with injury insurance. I like testing my skills on Prize Picks, and this is something that helps. For baseball games, if you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. So if something happens, Garrett Stubbs, for instance, last night he didn't leave the game, but he takes that ball off his forearm, he stays in the game. But if he had to leave and you had Garrett Stubbs somehow, exactly what I'm talking about. PrizePicks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this baseball season. So make sure you enjoy. I told you about my losses, unfortunately, but you can be smarter than me. Have that as a goal and win on PrizePicks, at least today. Won yesterday, not today. So download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match of $100. That's right. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So enjoy PrizePicks. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a good time on PrizePicks. So where do we go from here? How do we pick up the pieces when it comes to your Philadelphia Phillies? They're 26-12 now on the season. They get the off day tomorrow, and then they pick up a series in Miami with the Marlins. 7:10 start time. Miami, so late. They got a 3-game series in Miami. Then they have the split 4-game series with the New York Mets. 2 in New York and then 2 in South Philly. And then they'll host the Washington Nationals for 3, and then the Texas Rangers for 3 before heading out on a 6-game road trip there to start, where they'll actually start off. They'll come back and just at the end of May, as a matter of fact. But here's what the Phillies got going on after their day off tomorrow. They got a 7:10 start time. Taijuan Walker slated to make that start for the Phillies after the day off. Trevor Rogers will get the ball, 26-year-old left-handed pitcher. If you haven't noticed, the Marlins are pretty terrible at baseball this year, which is horrifying to me because you don't, like I just said earlier about sometimes that's baseball. Phillies go out and run up 8 runs on a 1.44 ERA, best ERA of baseball guy in game 1 of the Toronto series. Game 2, they can't hit a 5.45 guy. So good times. So now they're going to face the Marlins, and who do they got on the mound in this left-handed pitcher? 26-year-old lefty, Trevor Rogers, 0-5 on the season with a 6.15 ERA. He lasted just 2 1/3 against the Oakland A's in a game that was 20-4. Holy Stromboli. He went 2 1/3, 8 runs on 8 hits, 2 home runs, 3 walks. Hasn't been great. It hasn't been great for him. But yeah, he gets the ball on Friday, May 10th, to go up against the Phillies. As for Taijuan Walker, I know the numbers aren't there in terms of comparable to what Spencer Turnbull was doing when he was in the rotation. But since he has come back, what you have seen from Taijuan Walker has, for the most part, been good. It does kind of remind me of last year. The ERA isn't something you're bragging about, but he's 2-0 this year. And you're talking about what, 15 wins, 14 wins last season? That's pretty good. I know a lot of it has to do with luck, but oh my goodness gracious. His last 2 starts, or his only 2 starts of the season, I should say, he went at least 6 1/3 in each of them. He did give up, talking about the big hit, did give up the big hit just before he was pulled. Can we do him a favor? This is a question I want to ask of Rob Thompson. Can we do Taijuan Walker just a little bit of a favor, please? You know the logic, and I've said this after his last 2 starts. You know the logic you apply to, like, everybody else? You know, a lot of, hey, I want this guy to feel good about himself coming off the mound, so I'm going to take him out right before I feel like he's really leaking gas, right? Let me do that. How about you do that with this guy? Because talk about the 7th inning for him. He pitches fairly decent through 6 innings, and then you get him into the 7th inning, you're like, let me see what I can get out of him. And after a day off, which I think was the same situation the Phillies had before when Taijuan Walker, not against the Giants, but his first start coming back, especially coming off the IL. Let's give the guy a break. If he gives you 6 good innings and his pitch count is up there, maybe give him a little bit of a break. He was at 90 pitches the last time when he got pulled, and previous to that, he was at 90 pitches as well, and that was still the Phillies' win over the San Diego Padres, and now then most recently he beat the San Francisco Giants. Let's see if we can keep that magic going against the Miami Marlins come Friday night at 7:10. Yours truly will be back with you guys for that. Hey, tomorrow, how about this? If you guys listen to my friend Connor Thomas on Locked On Phillies podcast, not postcast, but podcast, the daily podcast here on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, I will be on with Connor tomorrow, having ourselves a good time talking some Phillies baseball, what we like, what we don't like, what they need, what they don't need, and who's the next guy that might just break out as a red-hot Philly. Coming up next. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to do that podcast tomorrow, so I look forward to you guys hearing that during the Phillies day off, of course. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. In the meantime, make sure you guys smash the like button on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you guys listen to the podcast as well, whether it's Connor Thomas with Locked On Phillies podcast, or it's yours truly, Mark Farzetta, on the Locked On Phillies postcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Be back with you guys tomorrow with Connor, and then I'll be back on a podcast or postcast Friday night. So don't miss that one either. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.